All right, if you're an SME preparer, you know the new IFRS S1 standard is a pretty big deal. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all the complexity and give you the solid foundational principles you need to handle it with confidence. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the new global baseline, what it is and why it matters. Then we'll zero in on who you're actually reporting for, your primary users. After that, we're going to finally demystify materiality and then show you how to connect your sustainability story to your actual financial numbers, wrapping it all up with a really practical example. Okay, first up, the global baseline. The best way to think about this is like a new universal language for sustainability reporting. IFRS S1 creates one single standard so that no matter where your business operates, the sustainability info you put out is consistent, it's comparable, and yeah, it's verifiable.
And the goal here is super practical. You need to disclose any sustainability-related risks and opportunities that could realistically impact your company's future. This isn't about some vague, feel-good ideas. It's about the hard-nosed factors that can actually affect your cash flow, your access to financing, and your cost of capital.
Okay, so now that we know why we're reporting, let's nail down who we're reporting for. IFRS S1 is incredibly clear on this. Your disclosures are aimed at a very specific group of people, your primary users.
So who are these primary users? Well, the standard is really precise here. We're talking about your existing and potential investors, your lenders, and any other creditors. The key takeaway is this: you're not writing a report for the general public. You're creating it for the people and the institutions who are actually providing the capital to run your business.
And these are the folks making some really high-stakes decisions based on what you report. They're deciding whether to buy your stock, whether to lend you money, or even how they should vote on what management is doing. Your disclosures directly feed into these critical financial choices.
So we've got the why and the who covered. Now for the what. What exactly do you have to report? The answer to that lies in a core principle called materiality. This is what helps you figure out what information is absolutely essential to include.
And here it is, the core definition straight from the standard itself. Information is material if leaving it out, getting it wrong, or kind of hiding it could change a primary user's decision. That's the litmus test, plain and simple. Could this piece of information change an investor's or a lender's mind about your company? If the answer is yes, it's material. This is a really important shift. In the past, materiality was sometimes tied to these, kind of fuzzy concepts like enterprise value. IFRS S1 brings a whole new level of clarity. It lines up materiality directly with financial reporting standards you already know, like IS1, and it all boils down to that one practical question: could this influence a primary user's decision about where to put their money? It just makes everything so much more focused and, frankly, easier to apply. So, you've figured out what's material. Great. The next step is absolutely critical, and that's connecting that information to your financials. IFRS S1 is really emphatic about this. Your sustainability disclosures can't just live off in some separate, standalone report. They have to be woven into your financial data. Exactly. They can't exist in a silo. What this means is you have to draw a really clear line from your sustainability risks and opportunities to how they actually impact your financials, both today and down the road. It's really your job to connect those dots for your primary users, showing them how your sustainability strategy hits the bottom line.
Think of it as a simple 4-step process you can always follow. 1. Identify the risk or opportunity. 2. Explain what you're doing about it, your strategic response. 3. Show where it hits your financials. And 4. Make that connection crystal clear. This process is what builds that essential bridge between your story and your numbers.
All right, let's put all this theory into practice with a quick example. We're going to look at a really common scenario, a packaging trade-off, to see how all these principles actually work together in the real world. So let's say your company is thinking about switching to more sustainable packaging. This is a pretty standard business decision, right? But now, under IFRS S1, it comes with some very specific reporting requirements. Because every decision has a trade-off. In this case, the opportunity is lower costs and a better brand image. Great. The risk, though, is the big upfront investment you need to make it happen. And because this trade-off could absolutely influence how an investor or lender sees your company's future, it's considered material information. You have to disclose it. And this is where we connect the story directly to the numbers.
That investment in new machinery, well, that's going to show up as an increase in property, plant, and equipment on your balance sheet. That big upfront payment, that hits your cash flow from investing activities. And those long-term savings you're hoping for, that's going to have a positive impact on your cost of goods sold. See, every single part of the story has a direct home in your financial statements.
So, we've walked through the foundational framework of IFRS S1, but the real work, of course, starts now. It's time to take a fresh look at your own business. What kind of sustainability stories are already hiding inside your financial statements, just waiting to be told? By applying these principles, you can start to paint a much more complete and a much more transparent picture of your company's real value.